Awesome. Thank you. So to get started, I just sent in the chat my LinkedIn and my email so that you could connect with me. And why is this important? So today we're going to go over how LinkedIn impacts your job search and how you can change the trajectory of your entire job search by using LinkedIn as a tool and actually as a way to create more engagement, visibility, and to completely transform how you job search and the opportunities that you find. So the first thing that I'd like you to do at any point during today's time together is send in your LinkedIn in the chat as well and connect with others. To connect with me, you'll need my email. So I sent that in the chat. So at any point today, link connect with me, put in my email, and add a note. So this will be first kind of step towards expanding your network. So why are we doing this? Why are we talking about LinkedIn? So a little bit about my background. So my name is Anna. Thank you so much, Tatiana, for introducing me. How I actually met Tatiana was through LinkedIn, through networking, through kind of being involved in the community. And my background is working in tech for 15 years. I've done product and project management, working with all kinds of teams, all kinds of engineers, designers, product managers. And the last couple of years, I actually pivoted towards creating a career coaching business and really focusing on teaching and coaching engineers how to utilize LinkedIn in their job search. So just to start, the state of the job search is much different than it ever was because it's now mostly remote. No matter if the job is in person, the job discovery mechanism is online. You're probably not going to walk down the street and find out who's hiring. That's probably not going to happen if you're a software engineer, QA in tech, right? So how do you discover roles? That's where LinkedIn comes in. A lot of people are still really used to jumping into job boards and obsessing over your resume. I'm here to say that you can obsess all you want, but there is a limit to how much you can tweak your resume. There is a limit to how much you can apply. And even though if you're a senior, for example, you have 5+ years, 10 years, 20 years, you will obviously get interviews. There's also a limit to what opportunities you'll find on the job boards because not everything is posted. So we're going to talk about a couple of components of why LinkedIn is helpful and how it's helpful. And we're going to take a quick break in between some of these topics to check in and kind of see how are people using LinkedIn today? What are your feelings on networking? Things like that. So during our time together, be sure to drop your LinkedIn link in the chat, connect with someone new, and start to expand your network. So just to get started, a lot of opportunities are not as easily accessible for many reasons. So today, applications are getting flooded with applicants, and one opening can have couple hundred to 1,000 applicants, and that's going to be impossible for anyone to sort through. So if you are getting interviews, that's great. That's slightly different conversation. But if you're having trouble generating consistent interviews or the right interviews, there are a lot of other ways beyond sending applications into the company through the send submit button. There are other ways to generate opportunities. And that is where LinkedIn comes in. So the first part of LinkedIn that's really, really powerful is your feed. And I'd love to take a moment to kind of go around the room to hear from 2-3 people. What do you think about your LinkedIn feed? What comes to mind when I mention the LinkedIn feed? Can someone volunteer about what comes to mind for them when we talk about LinkedIn feed? And you can go off mute and just share what comes to mind.
I can start about my feed.
Sure.
I'm actually usually I'm happy with my feed when I get some interesting posts that I can relate to. right? And then it makes me interested to read my feed. But sometimes it gets dull, and I have to figure out how to make it interesting again. And I go and look for more people to make it interesting again. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, what gets dull? Like, what are you on the feed for? I mean, you have many reasons to be on there, but what are your reasons and why do you say it gets dull?
So, someone interesting or something interesting that they're saying, right? So I usually use it for my growth, or getting new ideas or making new connections.
Okay, excellent. So you're trying to find new individuals to connect with.
Yep, and ideas too. Kind of like,
Topics, themes, things to talk about.
yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Someone else? Benjamin, welcome. What can you share about your feed?
Well, it has like other people I go to school with.
It has a lot of like alumni or just people
Yeah.
from past companies and stuff. And what concepts come to mind? Like, is it useful? Is it boring? Is it depressing? Is it insightful? Like, what concepts come to mind when you look at your feed?
Well, I can see what they are doing, I guess.
Okay, so
So
you
there's
want to
also like a lot of ads.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing. So we'll talk a little bit about what the feed is for and how you want to start to actually think about it as a tool. So the first thing is the feed is customizable. The feed is not a one source of truth that you can never change. A lot of people treat the LinkedIn feed like a channel that they cannot change. And on top of that, they treat it like a news source, which, for example, in Benjamin's case, is kind of like a lot of people that he may know from his past that he's kind of keeping track of things. So it's a little bit like we use Facebook for kind of seeing where does our like high school friend work now, or what music are they playing or something. The thing is that is happening for sure, but there's a lot of other information on LinkedIn, and it's kind of like a free for all. And you want to think of feed as a tool, not a social media first. It is also social media, but if you flip your mindset from how do I make it work for me for whatever goals you have, you actually want it to be engaging based on your goals. And we're going to think about it backwards because we actually want to think about the feed as a tool. And any tool that we use, we have some kind of goal or objective. For example, there's Zoom is a tool. The goal of Zoom is for us to connect and hear each other real time. For example, if you think of uh, Slack, the tool is async communication, right? So there's different purposes for different tools. So what I want you to start really considering is that LinkedIn is not a social media first, it's a tool for your job search. Does anyone know how it could be a tool? And you can drop in the chat kind of what comes to mind. And I'll talk about what that looks like as well. But definitely drop in the chat. What do you think I'm talking about when I say use your feed as a tool? So the first thing that is important is the feed is customizable to whatever your goals are. So Ram's goals, Benjamin's goals, Parik goals, Tatiana's goals, they can all be different. So you actually want your feed to be unique to your goal. So for example, if Benjamin is job searching, his feed is going to look different than Tatiana, who's not job searching, looking for inspiration on topics and looking for more networking connections based on um, some like themes, right? So maybe she's looking to connect with more QA managers, or maybe she's looking to connect with more companies to sponsor events. Versus Benjamin, who might be looking for companies that are hiring Or maybe if Benjamin has his own company, maybe he's looking for clients, or like startups or founders or whatever the goals are. So you want to start with, what is your goal? So if you could drop in the chat, I'm going to wait a minute. What is your goal when you open LinkedIn? Why do you go to LinkedIn? Maybe you're not sure what it is right now, but what would you like your goal to be? If you don't have a specific goal, maybe you're not job searching, there's no urgency, that's fine. So why, when you're going on LinkedIn, what are you kind of expecting, or what do you want to be using it for? So drop in the chat, what is your goal, either now if you have a goal, or maybe some future longer term goal that you might have. We're going to talk about the job search as one of the main goals, because this is an event around the job search. And then we're going to talk about how you extend that beyond the job search as well. So Tatiana says, learn, connect with people. Matthew says, goal is look for jobs, find events to develop professional skills. Shilpa says, wanted to get news on hiring info, job search. Sweta says, connecting with recruiters or hiring managers. Okay, so obviously job search focus. Great. So there's a couple of things that you want to start to optimize for so you can customize your feed. So right now, we'll take Benjamin's example because it's very common. If you're not actively engaging in LinkedIn in the way that is a tool, what you're going to see is random posts. And these posts are going to be from people that maybe you've known or connected to years ago and never like re-engaged with. And then there's going to be random ads. And then there's going to be just like random recommendations that LinkedIn thinks are useful. And why is this happening? This is happening because LinkedIn doesn't know what you want. You're not engaging in the algorithm. You're not engaging in the community aspect. You're not commenting, you're not liking, you're not following. It has no clue, because unless you're clicking around, the algorithm doesn't know you exist. So of course, you and I know you're a real human being, but online, you don't exist unless you're commenting, liking, following, connecting. So these are really key components of the job search process to customizing your feed. And this is how you figure out how to make a feed that's useful. So for those of you actively job searching, what you want is probably more jobs in your feed. Is that right? If not, let me know. But we're going to talk about how to get more jobs in your feed so you can actually engage. And we're also going to talk about, what do I mean by engaging? Because a lot of people, they're not quite sure about how to engage, so they engage in a very limited scope. And this limited scope is actually not helpful and gets you no results. And we'll talk about why that is. So the first thing is, the feed is a tool. If you don't like what you see, if it's dull, if it's not engaging, you have to work to change it. And there's a couple of tools. So who here is clicking connect with new people every single week? If you are, click yes, put it in the chat. If you're not, just put no. This is just to give me an idea of how many of you here are actively engaged in connecting with new people or not. Okay, cool. So some of you are, some of you not so much. Awesome. So
And then,
this,
Anna, did you mean new people that you met on LinkedIn, or new people that you met somewhere else and then you added them on LinkedIn?
it actually doesn't matter. But that's a very good question. So in the past, LinkedIn would kind of be an address book for keeping in touch with people, but now it's more than an address book. It's a tool for discovery. And discovery can be in different ways. You can discover things through people, through the connect button and DM conversation. You can discover things through your feed. You can discover things through a comment. You could discover things through a repost, all kinds of stuff, right? So the point of a LinkedIn feed is discovery. And that based on your goals, what do you want to be discovering? So if you're job searching, you want to discover opportunities. And you actually want to think a little bit more above and beyond just hiring posts. That's like maybe 80% of what you want in your feed. You want opportunities to connect with the right people. And if you approach this in a more limited scope of, if I can get a referral, my time is wasted, you're not engaging. You're basically torturing yourself by sending a comment or a connection or a DM and then waiting for someone to help you when they don't know who you are. That's not going to happen. That's basically the anti-networking. That's when you think you're networking, but you're doing cold outreach. But let's just go back to the post for like the LinkedIn feed for a little bit more. So the first concept is you want to optimize your feed. You want to have a goal in mind, and you want to optimize your feed based on your engagement. So one of the first tools to do this is when you hit connect or follow or like a post that has keywords like hiring and QA and software engineer, you're going to see more of them. If you are perfectly employed and happy and you want to continue to keep your network warm, you definitely want to focus on engaging with people that post interesting topics, people that kind of are like semi-influencers, people that are creating podcasts, things like that. So it really depends on what stage you're at in like your career and your goals. But unless you engage with the feed by clicking around, like the more clicks you do, the more you're going to see results. And the more you connect with people based on your goals. So if you're looking for a job, your goals would be connecting with people who can help. And this is a bit broad, and it's broad specifically. It's broad because many people can help. If you only connect with recruiters, or you only connect with anyone with a manager in their title, or you only connect with like one kind of person, it may not give you the kind of engagement and conversation that you want. So the first thing is you want to figure out, where are these people? How do I meet them? That's where optimizing your feed comes in, number one. And two, it's connecting with people and starting DM conversations. That's where the intro note comes in. That's where leading the conversation comes in. That's where actually wanting to learn from others and engage in conversations, both in DMs and sometimes in comments, come in. And it really depends on your level of experience and how many interviews you get, how consistent, where are you in the interview stages. There are different strategies for each one, right? So when I work with clients, I work with QA and software engineers, anyone who's in the engineering space. We develop strategies that make sense for your level of experience, for the consistency of interviews you are getting or not getting. And then there's different ways to engage online for that. But generally speaking, you want to actually use the LinkedIn feed as a tool, not as a random news feed that you can't change. This is not the TV. It's more like a YouTube homepage that you can change based on whatever you want to see. And when you start to engage with different posts, you're going to see different people being recommended. And the second step after fixing your algorithm and in the feed is to actually engage with people, new people consistently online on LinkedIn by asking to connect with them or commenting on their posts in a thoughtful way, not like one word. If you're just getting started and you don't have any posts of your own, like you're not posting on LinkedIn, you're not engaging, do not just put one word comments. It's not going to help you. Maybe later you can get away with it. But once you have information that's engaging in your feed and you're actually wanting to engage with it, you can find posts that you actually can be involved in conversations with. Again, depends on your goals, right? When you're job searching, you actually want to be higher level engagement than usual on all kinds of posts. And then you're going to get a lot of people seeing you from all these different posts, all these different angles. So you're going to get visibility from your applications, from your comments, from your DMs, from applications, like all these different areas.
Anna, if I can chime in here,
Yeah,
I want to confirm that commenting on posts and making thoughtful comments
yeah,
will get you a lot of visibility. So, you know
yeah,
that I post a lot on my LinkedIn for those of you guys who are connected to me. And I look through the comments that people leave on my posts, right? And I read who the person is, what their title is, right? And if they left a thoughtful comment, I might click on their profile and see, oh, what are they doing, who they are, right? So the authors, who write posts, they notice you. You bring
yeah,
visibility by commenting on someone who you might be interested in connecting to
yeah,
post, and they would be more willing to connect with you if you comment. So totally agree with
exactly.
Anna here.
So we don't have like a ton of time to go into like this other big strategy, which is like open to work posts. Like that's a whole other strategy, like just in itself. First, fix your LinkedIn feed. Like, don't let it be boring. Don't let it be like depressing. Like, it's not going to do anything for you. The feed could be literally a feed of posts, people talking about the topics you're really interested in, other people in your industry that are sharing industry news, and most importantly, hiring, right? So my feed is all jobs. 90% of it is someone saying, my team is hiring. I have a new role. Here's the job description. Please apply. Comment if you applied. That is my feed. And why? Because my goal is to help my clients and to understand the industry. So I'm not going to say the industry is one way or another if I don't know the full scope of what's happening. And the only way I know that is firsthand. And LinkedIn is literally like firsthand information when roles are opening. If you're in DMs with someone, they'll tell you before a role is opening. That's where you find the best opportunities because you get ahead of the line. So a lot of times people are like, referrals, they're great. How can I get referrals? I got some, but they didn't lead anywhere. Well, either you're too late, you're not a fit, or something else happened. But if you are a fit and you're early, a referral is going to get you the interview. And if it is a good fit, it's going to get you to hopefully final rounds. And the very best thing of optimizing your feed, your profile, being active, all of these things, is recruiters are going to find you and notice you. And that is simply because of how the algorithm works and basic keywords. And this is like 101. So right now, so all of you, I don't know how many here are obsessing about your resume. I hear that a lot from a lot of people. You need to be obsessing about your LinkedIn posts, about your open to work posts, about the keywords that you're talking about. Right now, if you're treating your job search like it's the 1980s and we're going to just send a resume out, unless you are getting a 20% conversion rate on your cold applications, I wouldn't put all my eggs in the cold application bucket. And even then, you aren't kind of like accessing opportunities that are not posted, that are maybe through referral, all kinds of stuff. So you don't want to put all your eggs into the cold application bucket. And if there's any place where you double check your keywords and make sure everything is sparkling, that's your LinkedIn profile and you're open to work posts. But it works much better if you have a feed that you're actually engaged in. Because if you're not engaged in your feed, why are you even going on LinkedIn? And maybe some of you are wondering this, why am I going on there? Well, when you fix your feed, to actually give you the information you want, whatever it is. I don't care, whatever specialty, whatever niche, make it optimized to your situation. Engage with people that come up in your feed and treat it like the most important thing in your job search. You're going to get an offer in 3 months or less, like no problem. And one senior, he was like senior staff level, shared a story that he got laid off, but open to work post the next day. It got reposted many times because that is actually what people do. They repost your open to work posts. That's, everyone does it. It's normal. And because there was a recruiter a couple levels away from him that happened to have 5 minutes to scroll through her feed, saw his post that was reposted, got in touch with him, didn't need his resume, just looked at his profile and his posts, and got him in an interview process. And it happens to be a match. And he happens to be a great interviewer. And he also was a good fit, and he got the role. And that was 2 weeks. So you can be that lucky. You can manufacture that luck by actually using your LinkedIn feed, putting effort and time into that, and using all these other tools with open to work posts, with their profile, all of that stuff. So
Anna, can I ask you a question?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I made a post that I'm open to work, right? And I explained kind of like, hey, here's what I do and here's what I'm looking for. And I also attached my resume to the post. I just uploaded the document. So is that a good thing? Like, is that
It's
normal to like
neutral. I would say put a selfie, because every 6 months the thing may be different, but now what works is a post with a selfie. Really
Oh,
easy.
interesting. Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
That's the thing today.
Got it.
That's because it gives everyone a sense of trust and security that you're a real person. People are really scared of, like, did they not write it themselves? Is this the real profile? Are they telling the truth? That's behind every recruiter's kind of like thought process. And because there are fake profiles, there are fake candidates. People come in and show up in like weird video things. Like, that is what recruiters are going through.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you can create trust upfront through photos of your face, through social photos, through photos of your hobbies, like whatever, the faster you create that trust. And then of course you have to be a match for like what they're looking for. At senior levels, because you're like, senior director, anyone like 5 years plus at senior levels, open to work posts reach more recruiters because you're more senior and have a higher chance of getting you into interviews very quickly. Applications are not bad. I would not say completely abandon that. What I'm saying is, if you put 80% of your efforts into LinkedIn to find opportunities there through contacts by connections, DMs, posting, comments, all that, plus a little bit of applications, maybe 1 day a week, you're probably going to be in multiple interview loops every week. So that's
And
kind of
Anna, can you also talk about like if you need to beef up or kind of like make your profile more attractive, like what do you
yeah,
need to
we could
do
talk
for
about
that?
part 2, which is, so part 1, make your LinkedIn feed work for you, make it a tool. Let's talk about part 2, which is, what are the key components of your LinkedIn profile? And I want you to preface that with, again, it's algorithm and keyword based. So there's algorithm and keyword thing that comes first, and then second comes human trust. So there's 2 most important things that just check the basic boxes, like the first 2 seconds. That is your location and your photo. So the photo, if you haven't taken and posted a selfie on LinkedIn in the last 6 months, go do that. And if you have a great photo from before, great, keep using it. But a good photo creates that basic level of trust. And then the second thing is location. And that is because So many companies have geographical restrictions. They may be hiring remote, but only in an area. They could be hybrid. They could be in person. They could be, you could work remote, but we want to hire someone from a certain area, or we want to know that you're in the US or whatever. But the real like secret to why location is really important beyond like basic like check the boxes is recruiters search by location in addition to other elements. But if you don't hit that 20-30 mile radius in the basic search criteria, you're never going to get recruiters contacting you. So it's not a mystery and it's not a miracle that recruiters reach out to you. It's either you have the right location or you don't. And sometimes I advise candidates that are looking that are in a small town or maybe they want to move somewhere to just put whatever city they really truly want to be in. And if you are in a small town, like a current client is like in a small town in Ohio, put the next biggest city, Columbus, Ohio, because recruiters usually are in bigger cities. They usually are like regionally focused. San Francisco and New York are interesting examples because if you're not available on site or hybrid for a lot of these roles, Seattle too, you're not going to get into like conversations. But you might not want to do on site or hybrid. That's fine. But the signals you want to send are that you're available and that if one recruiter comes into your inbox, there's a chance others will. So you want to track that. If you're not getting enough recruiters or you're not getting like consistent, you want to be more active and make sure you're listing a big city in your location. It's a tool. It's not like your ID card. So a photo and location, really, really key there just to generate more opportunities. And then the next couple things are your headline. Your headline is not your job. If you're job searching, it's not the time to be super creative. It's a time to be pretty like straightforward and keyword focused. So just the title you're going for. The most popular title you find in most job descriptions are fine because recruiters, hiring managers type in whatever job description title. And then maybe a couple of tools. So in QA, it's like QA Manager, Cypress, Selenium, whatever it is that you're most focused on. But then once you cover the basics, you actually want to have a profile that covers like the titles. Well, the job titles, make them match the title that you want as much as possible. So of course, this is much easier when you are experienced and have like multiple years of work experience in the job that you want. If you don't, there are other strategies. I wouldn't rely on your LinkedIn profile primarily for interview generation, but let's say you're experienced, put the basic title that you see job descriptions have. So if your company was very creative and they called you like QA extraordinaire, call yourself on LinkedIn, whatever the job title is. So if it's QA, quality assurance manager, great. If it's quality control, great. If it's senior software engineer, full stack, great. So like just put in the basic title, and that's because they search by job titles. So what we're talking about is very similar to how people optimize the resume, but you want to put 100% of attention not on your resume, on your LinkedIn profile. In fact, I always recommend to have both the same content. I don't know why you don't go and just update the LinkedIn profile to have the same content. It's the same thing because they're going to verify who you are on your profile. Every time you do a post, every time you do a comment, every time you connect, where are going people go? To your profile. So if you're not worried about your profile, be worried about it, make it good, and then you're all set. You don't need to tweak it. Once you spend a couple minutes updating it to make it up to par with your resume, which I know you all have probably spent a lot of time optimizing, and have a nice smiling photo, that's it. That's great profile. So once you have the LinkedIn feed working for you, based on the kind of roles that you want, or the kind of goals that you have, and a profile that is active, friendly, and makes you feel like you're a real person, creates that trust. Now you have all the basic foundations to create more opportunities for yourself. So there's a couple more steps after that, like connecting with more people consistently. Um, you know, finding opportunities and commenting, like engaging with people, um, moving DM conversations to connection calls, like that's all part of the strategy. And if anyone here is job searching and want to explore like what that looks like, please connect with me. We can chat about that. You can definitely follow me and kind of register for any LinkedIn Lives or my email list, things like that. But the first part is really helping you understand your LinkedIn feed is kind of your lifeline in your career. One of the most important ones. And then the second part is your profile represents who you are as a person. Make it as lively as possible. And then we'll spend maybe 5-10 minutes kind of talking about posting a little bit, and then we'll just have more of a discussion. But maybe Tatiana, you have something to say about posting before I kind of dive into it.
Oh no, I mean, go ahead. I'll ask you questions or I'll chime in,
Okay.
but I'll let you go first.
Okay, awesome. So there's too many things that are really, really important to think about and remember when you're on LinkedIn and job searching. And in regards to posting, the first thing to think about is the open to work post. Um, Really, really important to remember and understand is your open to work post is not like a one and done thing. LinkedIn is a constant feed. It's a message board and people are constantly putting their messages on it. Imagine like a physical board and a bunch of sticky notes. And imagine if everyone was just putting sticky notes on top of each other over and over and over, right? If you don't put your sticky note on every so often, no one will see your sticky note. So you have to kind of think of your open to work post as a consistent medium, as a consistent call to action, as like a little marketing uh, strategy for yourself, and use it every week. And there's ways to update it to make it more fun. But basically, having a consistent open to work post for the entirety of your job search, maybe once a week, a new post with very similar content. You don't have to reinvent the content. So consistent weekly open to work posts could be a really big tool to remind people you're job searching, to tell them what you're qualified for, and to create that engagement loop with people you're talking to in DMs, or even people that you're like, new people that you're engaging with. That's because people that you're talking to in DMs or new people that come on your profile, they have stuff going on. They might not know what you're looking for all the time. So every time you do an open to work, you have another opportunity for increasing your, expanding your network, for meeting new people, and for people to help you essentially. So you can reuse the content from your open to work post. Let's say the first one, you can add a different photo of it every time. Let's say if you have a hobby, I have a software engineer in my feed and her hobby is going cycling. So she's not job searching. She just posts photos of her cycling. But if she ever wanted to get in touch with me or any of her, community, all she has to do is send a DM or a connection request, and they will, of course, accept, because she's engaging with her community by sharing her hobbies, kind of a little bit like a social media. But that's because she's not actively job searching. So you can add that on to the open to work post, which is kind of the second part of it. So the open to work post, make sure people know that you're job searching, which is your job to let them know, because they can't help you if they don't know. Don't feel bad about it or weird. It's just a board to advertise. So you can put your advertisement. It's okay. You can even change it up a little bit every week and add people, tag people, talk about how you're connecting and what you're doing, where you're interviewing. There's a lot of formats for that. But the second part is you could talk about your life outside of work. You could talk about your hobbies. You could talk about projects. You can talk about your family, about your travels, whatever you're passionate about. Just treat it. This is the time to actually be a little more social online and treat LinkedIn like 10% a social media, and kind of be more free with kind of sharing who you are. And that is because you're doing two things by sharing who you are. You are creating trust by showing something relatable that you're doing, whatever, traveling, walking, cycling, family. And two, you're reminding people of I'm here. And this is important because in the job search process, things move very quickly. New opportunities pop up and get removed all the time. And you kind of want to be on people's radar. And it also makes it much easier and much more normal to pop into a DM conversation from like 2 months ago if you've been posting, because it's like knocking on the neighbor's door that you kind of like see randomly every day. It would be fine. You just knock on their door. You kind of like been saying hi. But if you never see them and then like once every 6 months you like knock on their door, it's kind of weird. You're like, why are you here? I mean, you could still do that, but it's much more natural and kind of feels more part of the process to do that. And the thing
Yeah, and
just
another reason I found that posting is great is because I would get direct messages based on my post, and people would be like,
Oh
"Oh, I
yeah,
like
you
that
get
post,"
free
right?
contacts. People contact you.
Yep,
Yeah, like
yep,
when I post that, people contact me because obviously they see me talking about something job search related. It's like, oh, maybe Anna knows something. I'll just
yep,
like reach out and say hi. I don't know. Tell her I'm
yep.
looking for something. I'm like, okay. So I'm a coach, so I direct them to my email list, or I tell them about like a program or like an event or something. But often when you post about something that you really care about, people resonate with that. And that is a leverage point. This is a place or a connection point. This is some place that you can start a conversation from. So that woman who does cycling every day, I don't know, if my hobby was also cycling, we could talk about cycling. Like these are all the ways that people start conversations naturally, right? So these are ways to translate that online and create more of like an online engagement loop. So just to quickly summarize, um, make your LinkedIn feed work for you. If it's boring, disappointing, dull, pointless, or in any case, like you're like, I don't even know what it is, optimize it, actually make it work for you and your goals. Fix up your profile, make sure it represents who you are and that you're proud and confident of your profile. And three, be engaged with the community by posting about yourself. If you're job searching, go all out, talk about your job search. It's literally the platform to do that. So I'm going to stop there. And if you haven't connected with me, please do. And let's kind of open the the floor up to questions and conversation.
While we're waiting for questions, Anna, I also want to post now our WhatsApp channel in chat. So something that we're doing, like some people have a better feed, like you said, with all of the hiring announcements, right? So we have a WhatsApp channel where we're actually sharing all of the LinkedIn posts where people announce their
Oh,
hiring.
that's nice. That's great.
And so I put that WhatsApp channel, it's called the Job Search Support Group. I put it in chat so you guys can join it if you're not there yet, and also talk to the fellow job searchers. So do you have any questions for Anna? Anything that you're wondering or anything that you've learned today that you want to share? Okay, we have a question in chat. What's the best way to avoid ghost jobs and scam remote roles?
You have to be active. If you're not active, you're going to get scam rolls and just get random information that's not real.
But I think maybe they're asking sometimes not someone doesn't reach out to you, but you see a post that says like, hey, we're hiring, but it's actually a scam post, right? So do you have any?
Don't send your information to anyone if they ask for your information, don't just volunteer your personal information. That's just part of the tech world. That's just part of being alive in America. And that's just how things are. Never share your personal information unless you sign an offer letter.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you're
The
not
question is like,
active,
if they're
you're
asking
going
for
to see
resume,
more random stuff. If you're not
uh,
active, all you're going to see are scams and useless like information. Um, and you're going to have kind of like a ghost fields in your LinkedIn feed. I'm not saying you'll never see it or get that if you're active. I'm saying that if you're not active, you're not engaging. So LinkedIn has no idea what to show you. It's going to show you random stuff.
okay, we have another question here. Um, could you talk a little bit about how to be loud about open to work on LinkedIn, but yet avoid the suspicion of leaving your current employer?
Well, you wouldn't do a real open to work post. You would do like I am learning something or I'm excited about something post. So everything except the open to work posts. So that means be active about sharing about your hobbies, sharing about your projects, share how much you like working there, share what you're working on, share about your projects. Um, Literally be active. You don't have to have an open to work post if you don't want people to know that publicly. But if you're in DMs, obviously tell people you're looking. So the open to work post is that extra push for people that are actively looking. They don't have an employer to think about. And if you're in a position or a situation where you're scared about what people think about you on LinkedIn, block them and stop thinking about the other person because it's there, you have your own life to live. So block the people that you feel would not help you or would make you feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn Premium is a must if you are less than 5 years experience and job searching. And that is because you have access to more people, to connections. You have access to a little bit more information and more filters when you're searching. LinkedIn also likes your profile a little more because you're paying them. So it is an investment in increasing visibility for yourself. But if you pay the your premium, but you're not connecting with people, like what, then yeah, it's a waste. But you actually want to have premium and do all the activities related to the job search process, to creating visibility, to connecting with people. So it's a tool. If you're paying for it, use the tool essentially. And use the search filters. They're pretty good. They're not like amazing, but they're pretty good for finding new people.
And there's a question I didn't quite get from Julian. Do you know about BC forward remote role? So BC, is this like Canada or?
The website shows and in the States, the recruiter talked to me today from the States, but like I was asking, do you have presence in Canada? He said yes, but from the website, I learned Google around, I searched around on LinkedIn, I don't find anything.
Oh,
We
Because
don't have
they are
information.
asking for T4, if like incorporate, they give a GSE number or incorporation number, I'm okay. In case materialize anything, I'm not comfortable giving my social insurance number to someone just come from the website,
Well, of
like,
course not. And why would they need that? No one would need that, Juliana.
yeah.
I gave them my resume with my full address and the phone number, everything.
Again, remove it. No one needs your personal information. Connect
Okay.
with me online. I'm on LinkedIn. Like I said, I'm happy to share some next steps you can take. But a lot of people have their full address, their phone number, all this. Your phone number doesn't even need to be on your resume. Your full address, no one needs to know. LinkedIn is
That,
not your ID card. It's like a marketing platform for your career.
They ask a copy of my resume that has my address. I just removed my phone number from LinkedIn because I didn't know
Yeah, that's
it's
fine.
kind of
That's
a.
normal. But what I would say is if a recruiter reaches out to you, tell them all my information is up to date on my LinkedIn, which is your key to go and fill out your LinkedIn if it's not, and ask for a call with them. Because the only reason they ask for your resume is because most people do not keep their LinkedIn up to date. If it's up to date, then you have nothing you need to send them. You can just get on a call with them. And if they don't want to get on a call with you, then they're not worth continuing the conversation. And this is one recruiter, so who cares about one recruiter?
Thank you.
All right. This is our time, guys. We're unfortunately out of
Okay,
time.
bye. Thank you, everyone.
This flew by quickly. So thank you, Anna, for helping us understand how to use LinkedIn today. And thank you, everyone, for joining and for your thoughtful questions. Please connect with me and Anna and join our future events. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Okay.